Hi, boys and girls. We're doing lesson 2-8, and it's all about multiplicative comparisons. That is quite a mouthful, isn't it? But as we learn about multiplicative comparisons, you'll discover that the hardest part about it is just actually being able to say it. So let's get into it. All right. Our math message is actually something that normally when you're in class, I would have you have a half sheet of paper and you would actually measure these two lines here. And it says, look at the ribbons and then read the statement given. So we have Eve's ribbon and we have Maxine's ribbon. And it says, statement, Eve's ribbon is shorter than Maxine's ribbon, right? We can agree with that statement, right? Now, the next part, it says, measure the two ribbons in centimeters, and then write two more statements describing how the lengths compare. So, if we want to think about a comparison statement, we want to think about a few things. We want to try to think about saying something that includes both quantities or amounts being compared. We want to use words like shorter than, longer than, two of this will equal that, two times as long, and so on. And then we also want to show how the quantities are in a relationship with each other. Okay, so let's go back to that math message here. And I am going to be doing some measuring for you in this video because, well, some of you are at home and you don't necessarily have these sheets to be able to print out. But I'd like you to, and for the sake of time as well, we are definitely going to be doing plenty of measurement. So we're not going to miss out a whole lot on the fact that we're not measuring these items. Now, after measuring, we have two different lengths. Eve's ribbon is 8 centimeters long, and Maxine's ribbon is 16 centimeters long. Let's see if I can keep them different colors. Good. Okay. So 8 centimeters, 16 centimeters. So I want you to think of two different statements that can compare these quantities, these numbers. And I want you to record them in a private comment on this assignment. Okay, so I want you to record two different statements. Okay, pause, think about that, go even to our private comments, write that in, and then that'll also show me that you're watching this video. And then come back and we'll talk. Okay, so I hope you paused, recorded those comments, and we can kind of jump back in. Okay, so one statement that we could make is that the length of Maxine's ribbon is twice as long as Eve's. 16 is twice as much as 8, right? So we could say twice as long, we could say 2 times as long. Both of those kind of show a relationship, right? We could say another statement. That says Maxine's ribbon is 8 centimeters longer than Eve's. Now, these two statements are very different. One of them uses an idea of, let's try to click off that. One of them uses multiplication to describe the relationship. Twice as long, 3 times as long, 15 times as big, right? All of those use multiplication to help describe the comparison. Here, Maxine's ribbon says that it's 8 centimeters longer. We are using addition in this comparison. So there's 2 different comparisons here. One of them is, I'm going to try to click off so I can choose a new color and a different font size. This one here is known as the multiplicative comparison, okay? And the other one, the other comparison that we have here is an additive comparison. Additive, we're using addition or subtraction. Multiplicative, we're using multiplication or possibly division. So how could we rephrase this in the form of division? Well, we could say Eve's ribbon is half as long as Maxine's. And that's showing that it's something that's divided, right, into a smaller amount. So that's the difference. We have some comparisons that we say are multiplicative. It means that we're comparing things using multiplication. Some are additive, where we're using addition or subtraction. So you could say, I have 10 pens in this package, or these 2 packages all together. I have 6 more pens than Jill does. That's a comparison that shows that I'm adding to compare them to, okay? If I wanted to say, another example of a multiplicative comparison could be a movie on iTunes costs $15 and a book costs $5. So what would be some other examples of ways to compare these 2 values? All right, I want you again in another private comment to write down another comparison statement for these 2 items, these 2 quantities, amounts. Pause, do that, and come back. Okay, so 2 possible items, 2 possible ways we can describe it is the movie costs 3 times as much as the book. Another way we could say it is 3 books equals the cost of 1 movie. Both of them we're talking about 5 times 3 equals 15. And that shows the relationship. And that would be an equation that we can use to explain that relationship, okay? So the last thing I want you to do to prove that you've been watching this video all the way through is I want you to find 2 items in your house, and I want you to compare them multiplicatively. I want you to try to find an item and find another item, and whether it's length or something else, I want you to compare them using multiplication. So something needs to be a certain number of times bigger or smaller than another item, okay? So lastly, let's get into the journal pages. Let's talk about that real quick. The journal page. We'll do number 1 together, okay? Number 1 says 42 is 6 times as much as 7. Record an equation. All right, so let's take a look at some of these words that might help us. Okay. Um, the word is and the word times are actually really useful when we're thinking about comparison statements and thinking about equations in general. The word is and the word times are clues, right? So if we were going to write a multiplication equation for this, right? We have 42 is equal to 6 times 7. See how that works? So we have 42 is 6 times as much as 7. There you go. All right. So test that out. Think about some of using that idea and applying it to the rest of this page. Okay. We're going to be practicing these more. We're going to be also looking at additive comparisons too, just so we can see the differences. All right. So good luck with this. And make sure you write those comments to show me that you watched those videos. And I'm looking forward to seeing you soon. All right. Have a good day.